Hey guys, what's going on? It's Greg here from Kinobody.com, and it's a little bit bright out, so I'm going to keep the glasses on. I know some of you guys are saying, the glasses create a certain level of disconnect. Well, I'm going to try and be very present in this video so you don't feel any disconnect via my eyes being covered up. But today we're going to talk about leg training, and that's Kinobody style, because everyone in the fitness industry is very strong proponents of really training your legs, doing, maybe 2 hard, intense leg workouts a week, a lot of squats, a lot of deadlifts, lunges, the whole gambit, really building the legs with a lot of volume and getting them really strong. Now, the problem is that if I was to do this, and if a lot of you guys were to do this, over the course of a year, 2 years, maybe even less, your legs are going to get really chunky. They're going to get really big. They're going to chafe together right here at the hamstrings when you walk. You're going to have to, wear some dorky-ass clown pants, big baggy sweatpants, and you're going to look like crap. It doesn't look good. Your upper body will look worse in comparison, because when you have big tree trunks, it draws your legs down, draws your eyes down to the lower body. But if you want to have that sleek, crisp Hollywood look, you want to keep your legs balanced. If you look at my legs right now, they're not small by any means. They fit perfectly in proportion to my upper body. Now, there's 2 things you want to keep in mind with leg training. You want to have legs that look good, and we'll address that right now. So that's not overdoing the legs and building up too much mass. That's keeping them in proportion to your upper body. Right now, my legs are pretty defined, and they're just a good all-around size. Now, as far as achieving that is concerned, you don't need to do that much volume. I do very little volume for my legs. As well, you need to keep your body balanced, so it depends on where you are. If you're very, very skinny, you might have to do a lot of squats and deadlifts to build up the base muscle. But eventually, very quickly, you'll really want to focus on 2 areas. The teardrop right here, the vastus medialis, that's going to add more size to the bottom of your thigh, which will give your legs better proportion, and they'll make them appear longer and slimmer. Secondly, you want to build up your calves. When people say someone has chicken legs, they're referring to tiny little calf muscles. So you want to do a lot of calf raises. Hitting a lot of solid muscle building volume on the teardrop via leg extensions or front foot elevated split squats, or even just some single leg work will help add muscle right here and balance out your legs, and then a lot of calf raises. That's where you want to focus on hypertrophy. The second component of leg training is you want to build a lot of power and speed. So it's not so much getting really ridiculously strong, it's about building strength in a way that will carry over to jumping and sprinting. I have a very good vertical. I have a 32-inch standing vertical. I'll add a clip right now so you can see that. And I have like a 35-inch running vertical. This is considered highly elite. I think the average vertical in the NBA is like 28 inches. Football players have better verticals generally. And so as far as building that power and that speed is concerned, people do way too much volume. Programs geared around sprinting and jumping are completely overdone. So what I recommend for people to do is singles and doubles, so 1 or 2 rep sets. That will limit any excess muscle gain and build a lot of strength. And so I like to do single or double pistol squats with the weight, and that single leg work is awesome because you're not dependent on your lower back, and sumo deadlifts, which actually carry over beautifully to sprinting. One of the top sprinting coaches, Barry Ross, he's a huge proponent of sumo deadlifts. He finds them extraordinarily effective. So getting powerful at 1 or 2 rep sumo deadlifts and 1 or 2 rep single leg squats will build enormous strength that will carry over to sprinting and jumping. One of the keys is don't go too heavy. So if you're doing sumo deads, don't use a weight that you're going to grind out and use a lot of your back. Use a weight you can still explode up with. Because if you're grinding out the rep, it's not going to carry over as well as sprinting. You need to be able to explode up to build that type of strength that will carry over to sprinting and jumping. And why am I talking about sprinting and jumping? Well, that's what your legs are for. We're humans, we sprint, we jump. That's what we do. If you're talking about athletic purposes for your legs, it's all about sprinting and jumping. It doesn't matter if you can squat 600 pounds if you have a 20-inch vertical. So as far as athleticism and functionality is concerned, if you're sprinting fast or jumping higher, your leg training is amazing. One last point I haven't addressed about leg aesthetics is you don't want to add too much size to the outer quad. That will create a feminine sweep. So a little bit is fine. I have a little bit myself, but you don't want to overdo it. A lot of bodybuilders talk about building this crazy sweep, which is a feminine trait. It doesn't look masculine. All right, guys, so if I want to build the absolutely most effective lower body training routine that I would do for guys that already have good leg size, well, here's what I do. So once a week, I'd start with a lower body workout with either sumo deadlifts or weighted pistol squats. I just do like 2-3 sets of 1 to 2 reps, explode up, build that power, and between those sets, so let's say you're doing 3 sets of sumo deadlifts for 1 to 2 reps, after the set, I'd rest a couple minutes, and then I'd do a jumping movement, just for like 2-3 reps. I'd either do depth jumps, or I'd do seated box jumps, and I'd just do like 2 or 3 reps of those. So that's called complex training. The strength lift induces a enhanced muscle fiber recruitment, so when you do the jump afterwards, you can jump higher. So that would be the first component. Then I'd do some hypertrophy work for the teardrop, some leg extensions with the toes pointed out, or some front foot elevated split squats. Then I'd finish off with some calf training, a few sets of calf raises, and that would be the workout, done. And then maybe another workout that you want to do for more, skill-oriented training, I would go to a park, find a basketball net, and I'd just do a couple running jumps. Just try and, get to the point where you just get a great running jump. Just do it a few times. After that, your power will teeter off. Maybe try a standing vertical and just work on the skill. People that want to, and then afterwards, I would do 2 sprints. That's it, just 2. The third one, you'll be slower. The fourth one, you'll be a hell of a lot slower. Stop at 2. Building strength and power, muscle mass is all about training to your body's potential without overdoing it. When you're doing 6 sprints, when you're doing 10 sets of jumping, you're gonna get slower, less powerful. Get to the point where your body's at its potential and then stop. So then, and so people underestimate the importance of practicing a skill. If you want to run faster, jump higher, practice that. Do an actual run as you would. Do a sprint, and with the sprint and the jumping, it's quite technical. When you're doing a running vertical, you want to keep your chest high, you want to come in nice and strong. As you get closer to your jumping spot, you want to take shorter steps. That last step should be very short. Land, stick it, jump. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be dropping 2 sweet videos every week, and I have this free report, somewhere here or here. It's going to give you a ton of value, teach you my approach to systematically creating a aesthetic, Greek god, and athletic physique in a very simple manner, because people are still figuring this shit out. I figured it out, and this is how it's done. I don't mean to sound arrogant, but this stuff is simple. When you get it right, it works. So I mean, you should join that. You'd be crazy not to. I'm going to save you so much time and money. That's it. That's everything I got. All right, guys. Stay tuned for the next video. Take care.